What branch of the military?
Hey, y'all know what it is. Yes, first formation, morning sports talk is me, your boy Trey. We got Ron, the speakeasy, and a special guest as we check it and chat it up with Mr. Brian Wiggins, representing the Houston Energy. We'll let you speak and let him speak and tell us about everything that he's got going on. But y'all come on and fall in. Y'all know we just talked about it's a Friday. We made it to this day. Look forward to the next couple of Fridays, you know what I'm saying? Many months, many years of Fridays as we got. What's going on with y'all fellas?
Man, I'm doing good, man. How about yourself?
Oh, I'm good, sir. I'm good, sir. Like you said, made it to Friday. Yesterday was a long day for me. It sounded like it was a long day for Ron. Everyone had long days, but like you said, we're here. What's good with you, Ron?
I'm doing blessed and highly favored. Happy to be home here on E2G. Woo! We had an incredible sports night last night. I'm mad I can't be on for 2 hours, but I'm ready, Trey.
Oh, it's cool. It's cool. There ain't none of us gonna be on for 2 hours today. I got, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, I got some things to do too. It's been a lot. Bishop need to come on, man. Bishop, matter of fact, yes, Bishop, you need to come. Like
Yeah,
I got some stuff I want to get off my chest with
we
Bishop.
Monday's
You
gonna
got.
be good.
Oh
Trey,
yeah,
can I give you
Monday.
your flowers?
What's
Cause
up?
can I give you your flowers? Because
What's
if
up,
you
bro?
and if you and Bishop is Jordan and Scotty, Scotty went down this week, and you've done an incredible job. I just want to
Appreciate it,
just
man.
give you your praise, man. Do your thing.
Appreciate it, bro. Appreciate it, man. It's. I had to sit up and pull some rabbits out my hat, and I was like, I'm not sure how it's gonna go. Like,
Yeah.
I believe very firmly in the rhythm of things. So, like coming on here, I don't have any of these scripted. I take notes and stuff, but nothing scripted.
Right.
Conversation, questions, everything is off the dome. Like if I was in URL battle. So,
You kept
it,
putting up
it,
the shots. I know Bishop's
yeah,
enjoying the peace, but get
oh
back to
yeah,
work
yeah.
Monday,
He in
sir.
Miami, but he be back to work Monday. We got some stuff we got to talk about. So, Mr. Wiggins. Of course, we know you as the Houston Energy's owner, coach. Giovanni gave plenty of praise as she said and spoke about you, but we gonna get to that soon enough about the Houston Energy. I know y'all put a slacking on somebody over the course over the weekend. Y'all got a game this weekend, but let's talk about Mr. Brian Wiggins, the man and what you so go ahead and introduce yourself to the high speeds.
Man, my name is Brian Wiggins. Born in New York, raised in Texas, from San
Mm-hmm.
Antonio. Went to high school, San Antonio. Ended up going to college at Texas Southern University. Graduated, got my master's, clinical psychology from Texas Southern.
Mm-hmm.
Went off to play football for 8 years and got to live a boyhood dream for a while.
Okay.
Um, Ruptured my patella tendon, so that ended my career. Ended up in the mortgage industry,
Mm-hmm.
and been in the mortgage industry since then, man. A friend of mine asked me, would I be interested in coaching women's football? And that was back in 2004. So needless to say, I didn't even know we had women's football. I was interested in going to a high school and kind of volunteering my time. I felt like these kids needed some guidance, how to run some routes, and maybe some of my professional tutelage could help them be better receivers. Well,
Okay.
needless to say, I told my buddy, I said, man, let me just go check out a practice, and so I went to go check out a practice, and here we are, almost 20 years later. Um, I'm still coaching women's football.
Okay.
Go ahead.
We'll get into that. We don't want to give the people too much under the hood. Gee, what's good with you? What's going on, man?
Morning. Good morning. Hey,
Okay.
Coach.
Good morning, G.
So I was just telling Coach Wiggins how you know what I'm saying you speak many of praises of him during your when we spoke, of course. You know Bishop's not here. He's somewhere chilling in the Bahamas on his way back.
Right.
But like I was telling, like when we was just talking to Ron, I was just telling him Bishop got some explaining to do. Brooklyn Nets got some talk. He gonna walk back. He gonna be lucky. He's lucky because I know he ain't got much to say in reference to the Eagles. As I see people in the comments, is Eagles everything. You get one player, all of a sudden everyone wants to set up his Super Bowl or the NBA championship. But you know what I'm saying, I can dig it. So yes, but what's been up with you, G? The last week and a half, 2 weeks? What last week? What's happened in the last week? Don't minus the thrashing that y'all put up last week. What's been up besides that? We'll get to that.
Oh, okay. Just work once again. Friday I have to work. I don't have it like you. You free on Friday. So
It's
once
now
again,
it
I'm
brief
working out
well.
of my car. I'm working out of my truck. I'm doing a hoarder house this morning, all the way in Galveston.
Okay,
Um,
okay.
so that's my life, just working, and of course football.
But that's all our lives. It may look like I ain't doing nothing, but I can assure you after this, that's why that's why the show is 2 hours in the morning because come that afternoon I gotta go punch a clock, and this is my day off, and I still gotta go punch a clock.
Right.
So yeah, so of course, like I was talking about, let's get into a little bit of the NFL as I was talking about as we get this first hour. So. Like I was telling Brian, telling Ron. Of course, I had to work yesterday as well. A long day, doing softball. Like softball, people are some of the most privileged people. But anyway, doing some softball stuff, so I ain't really get to initially pick up on the draft. But it was surprising when I got home and I took a look and started doing the research to find out that all this time for the last 4 or 5 months, everyone's been talking about who Aiden Hutchinson or Kayvon Thibodeau was going to be the number one draft picks. So I hadn't seen or heard anything, and to my surprise, to come in to see that Trayvon Walker was taken as the number one draft pick by this by the Jacksonville Jaguars, completely going a different route. And then not only that, to do a trade to trade back in to the first round, the second getting the what was it 27 pick from getting the 27 pick from the Buccaneers. Only what's good, Key? What's going on, Key? Only to basically getting the 27th pick by trading the second, the fourth round, and the sixth round to go back in to get Devin Lloyd. So of course, it's not a 49. The 49ers made no moves. I guess that's a good thing when we look at it because we could have been waking up this morning and heard that like I almost got bamboozled the other day when I woke up and I seen a meme talk about Debo Samuel had been traded to the New York Jets for the 2 first rounders. So I had to I had to breathe, and then I went and looked. I was like, oh, this is just saying this ain't what it is. So it was great. So of course, G, you're a lineman. What do you think of a lineman going number one overall? Do you think it's a changing of the tide, or do you think it was really specifically to that sense of the fact of the matter being that's what they needed in Jacksonville?
No, I think it's changing the game.
Okay.
For me, I tell the O and D line that we are the foundation. Like
Mm-hmm.
I've been playing for 11 years, and I can count on one hand where the O and D line got praised for something. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mm-hmm.
we don't get looked at, and it's okay. I feel like our coaches know that we do our job, but even in the NFL, quarterback throws a nice pass, the receiver catches it, touchdown, who gets the praise?
Yeah, the quarterback of the
So
tip. Yeah.
yeah, so to see a lineman, in the draft first round, like I think that is like so awesome. And I think it motivates other people. It motivates other linemen.
Okay, Coach.
You know, gosh, that's a tough one. That's a tough one. Most of the time, the sexy players are the guys who make the splash plays, the
Mm-hmm.
receivers, the quarterbacks. Not so much running backs, but man, I tell you, they're putting a high emphasis on O line and D line in this year's draft, and
Mm-hmm.
um, I didn't know where Trayvon Walker came from. To be honest with you, I thought it was Aiden Hutchinson.
Georgia,
Yeah,
UGA.
yeah. I didn't hear. I heard about him, but I didn't up until a week ago.
Exactly.
He was the guy. I mean, Aiden Hutchinson,
Yes.
Thibodeau from Oregon. I heard Thibodeau had kind of slipped down, so Aiden Hutchinson was the man.
Mm-hmm.
And man, out of nowhere, he came. He was number one draft pick. But I will say this: they're going to linemen. Linemen are definitely a necessity, but
Uh-huh.
Aiden Hutchinson, Thibodeau, and even Trayvon Walker, man, they're disruptors. They
Yes.
cause problems. You have to scheme around those guys. And maybe they just felt like, I know in the draft you got to you have a board and you
Yes.
have guys who you want to get. Do you take the best player available? Do you take who's best for your organization right now? So from what I hear, if the guy who you want is not there, you take the best player. I think at this point in time, Trayvon Walker was just the best player for the Jacksonville's organization, but he's a disruptor, man. He causes problems, and you got to scheme around him and make sure you put a hat on him to be able to effectively, run your offense. So I'm excited, man. But yeah, we got some good D linemen and O linemen drafted in the first round this year.
So, Ron, before I get to you, because I know we thought for the most part that it was going to be Aiden Hutchinson. Of course, it wasn't Aiden Hutchinson. Additionally, not only did Trayvon Walker go first from the University of Georgia, they set a record for the top 5 defensive players in the first round. Basically an OD to their, I don't know, their defensive coordinator, their development, or whatever case like. Ron, what did you think about Trayvon Walker? Did you see it coming?
We sort of did, because we talked about Hutchinson. We really wanted him to go to Detroit, his hometown. Shout out to Michigan Wolverines. It's going to be a great story. I'm happy to see Trayvon Walker go number 1 as well. Let's just hope Jacksonville can put it together.
True that. Of course, like I was saying, they went and traded back in. They're building a defense. Of course, that sounds interesting enough. When we thought they was going to get some more weapons for Trevor Lawrence, but maybe they presumed that they have enough, or it was more of a. Of course, I'm quick to say, defense wins ball games, offense sells tickets. So we have that obviously in that fact of the matter. But let's get to this, because I see a lot of Philly fans, and I see like Philly, yay. So of course, interestingly enough, the Philadelphia Eagles traded to get AJ Brown, wide receiver, giving up what was it, 4? Was it 4? Traded with the Titans, giving up the 18th, the 3rd, the 101st for AJ Brown. Ron, being we spoke a couple of times before in reference to Philadelphia. I know Key is going off. Alvin was the first person. I ain't seen Alvin, one of the first people to comment in a while. First and fourth. What do you think about Philly? AJ Brown going to Philly.
So the Jets won the draft, in my opinion. 3 first rounders, all top 10 players. Incredible. Philly stole the draft. They came in second in my books. They're set. They showed that they do believe in Jalen Hurts. We was wondering what they was doing, why they was preparing to get a quarterback next year, why not build on what they got. And they showed us that no, we're going all in. However, the Jets had 3 first rounders. How many first rounders did Philly have this year? 3.
Yes, they did. They had, they did. Yes,
started
correct.
Trading them.
Yes.
I don't know. I would have still liked to have gotten, some fresh whippersnappers, a new cornerback, a new linebacker, and a wide receiver that's going to be cheaper and going to allow you to be flexible and develop. But AJ Brown is a monster. They just gave him $100 million extension. So there goes the salary cap. But sorry, Cowboys. It's the Eagles' time now.
So Coach G, I know G, as we talked about, you said you got a couple more years in you than you plan to potentially maybe hang it up and go to the sideline, so you can still to have some type of input into the game. So I ask you this: it's a what if, or a scenario. So what, Coach? Y'all have an opportunity to draft to trade for a top talent, a young top talent, or hold on to a good amount, some pretty good perspective picks. What are y'all as a team doing? Are y'all trading? G, you're the of course he's the owner. G, you're the GM. Are y'all going after this talent and giving up those picks, or are y'all keeping y'all picks and just letting the talent ride?
Great question.
And I'm going to speak from the Philadelphia Eagles perspective, and I'm going to be the GM for the Philadelphia Eagles right now. I could be all the way wrong, but I'm going to tell you my thoughts.
Okay.
First and foremost, I'm a Jalen Hurts fan. I've been pulling for Jalen Hurts from day one. I think they kind of gave him the raw deal in the beginning. He got an opportunity to start now. I think this pick with AJ Brown puts Jalen Hurts on the clock. Like, hey,
Mm-hmm.
we get a young receiver, and it may take him a year or two to kind of get acclimated to the NFL. That they had the I forgot the gentleman's name from
Alabama.
Justin
Yes,
Smith.
Devontae Smith, is that his
Yes.
name?
Yes.
Now he didn't really. I mean, he did okay last year. He didn't really do anything. But AJ Brown is a young talent, 24 years old, a heck of a receiver. What they're doing, they got a couple number one draft picks next year as well. So I think what the GM for Philadelphia is saying, let's see what Jalen Hurts has. Is he our man for the future? Let's put a proven veteran receiver in the offense and see if they can take it to the next level, go to the playoffs, win some playoff games. Now, if the offense doesn't do any better this year with AJ Brown, that's an indictment on Jalen Hurts, in my opinion. I think that's what the GM is thinking. So hey, if they pay the money for AJ Brown, they go to the playoffs, they win a couple playoff games, made a good decision. Now you can start filling in the pieces, whatever else they may need. But I truly feel like depending on how Jalen Hurts plays this year, depends on if they draft a quarterback next year. They're going to give him one more year, but the clock is going. They better find some kind of symmetry and start getting their chemistry together and get on the same page, because if not, Jalen Hurts may not be in Philadelphia, or he may be a backup. Just
Okay,
like
G, same question. Are you trading that away, or are you keeping your picks, or are you trading them away and picking up this growing talent?
Um, so I don't know. And the reason why I say I don't know is because coach has instilled in me and the rest of the players that you can't slack off. Like every year there's gonna be a better person. Every year there's gonna be a
Mm-hmm.
faster person. Every year there's gonna be a stronger person. So I don't know. I haven't made it to that level yet where, I have to think about that and make those decisions. Um, I think it's about being comfortable. You put in the players that you feel comfortable with, and sometimes you are blindsided with the new talent that's out there. Um, I can't answer that. I don't know. Cause I would veer more off to my veterans. If they're doing a good job and they're striving for better, I probably will hold on, maybe pick one or two, young people, because you have to kind of compare the maturity level, the people that has knowledge of the game versus a new person. They do bring a lot of attributes. Like their fire is more than a veteran kind of laid back. Like, man, I've been doing this for a long time. So I can't answer that right now. I'm not up there yet.
Okay, I got you. No problem. No problem. So
Can
we
I
see
add
Anthony.
this? Can I
Yes, go
add
ahead.
this real quick?
Yes, go ahead. Go ahead.
In the receiver room in Philadelphia, outside of Devontae Smith, who else do they have? AJ Brown's a proven commodity. He's going to be the leader. I mean, if a rookie comes in and they're the shiny object in the draft, but if a rookie comes in, can they go to Devontae Smith and really ask them, hey, how do I do this? School me. AJ Brown is not only going to be a great player on the field, he's going to be a great asset in the film room and as a mentor to the younger receivers. Just my thoughts.
True that. So, of course, you see Anthony Price in the comments ask, basically state that the Eagles made the playoffs last year without AJ. Uh, it hurts. So, what do we say to that? Of course, when I look at it, my first thought is that they did, but they didn't advance. So
Yeah.
now you bring in the AJ Brown. Of course, like I said, Devontae Smith, uh, Goddard is still there, as Bishop always talks about. Sanders. So supposedly Jalen has weapons now. So with him having these weapons now, is it now do we advance past now? Correction. Now do they advance to the second round? Or if they don't make the first round, is it going to be said it hurts? Like, what are we looking at right here?
Yeah.
What do y'all think about that?
I think what people don't understand, and I played the game, and I was just a guy on the team, but it's hard being the number one receiver. It's hard. I mean, I'm kind of aging myself here, but I've seen time after time, even back when Michael Irvin and the Cowboys, remember Alvin Harper, the receiver?
Yes.
Alvin Harper was great with the Cowboys, but when he went to the Washington Redskins, you once he left the Cowboys, you didn't hear about him because Michael Irvin was the number one receiver. So they double teamed Michael Irvin, and Alvin Harper had a lot of passes. Take the Houston Texans. When DeAndre left, has anybody really just balled out like that? It's very hard being the number one receiver. Now, when Devontae Smith was the number one receiver last year, he may have got double teamed. You didn't really hear much from him. Now AJ Brown's there. Devontae Smith's game is probably going to pick up a little bit because they're going to be more focused on AJ Brown, and that number two receiver, Devontae Smith, is going to get a lot more time, get a lot more catches, and hopefully it just high tide raises all ships, and let's just hope that's what happens in Philadelphia.
Of course, Brian, he just asked you a question. He sees it as now AJ Brown becomes that number one, and Devontae relegates to, I don't know, a 1B or a number two. What you think, Ron? Number 1B, number two?
I would go with, of course, he's going to be the number one, but really, Philly is a run dominant team. The Eagles. The Eagles, focus on running the ball. Jalen Hurts is a run-dominant quarterback. I will go with Sanders being the number one. And the thing I like about A.J. Brown is he comes from a run-dominant team, being with Derrick Henry. So it's kind of already going to naturally fit into what he's supposed to do. But, of course, he's going to be the number one. But look for Devontae Smith to have more explosive numbers because all the pressure is going to be leaning to A.J. Brown.
So what's interesting, I see that supposedly Watkins is expected to be the third option. Ron being, of course, anyone in the comments, Key, Alvin, is Watkins the third option in Philly now?
I would say Goddard, tight end. Tight end. He should have some great numbers, a lot of single coverages. Him versus the linebackers are going to have to cover him because the safeties are going to have to go worry about Devontae and AJ Brown on the outside. The Eagles should be explosive. 12 wins. Yeah. They should easily be the third team in the NFC behind the Rams and Tom Brady, Tampa Tom.
Gee, do you hear the disrespect? Goodness gracious, you gonna act like we not even just sitting here and just sit up in our face and talk about act like San Francisco ain't did work. Goodness, I swear. Oh my God.
It's okay. I will say this though.
All our lives we have to fight.
I told you last week that I'm a diehard 49ers fan. I told you also that my dad loves the Raiders, and I don't know if you saw yesterday, but the GM is, saying that he would welcome Kaepernick with open arms.
I see that. Yeah, I see that.
I'm looking forward to that.
The Raiders GM said that?
Yeah.
Are they gonna give him a shot? Are they gonna give him a shot?
I don't know. Like it was really brief from what I saw. He just said that he would welcome Kaepernick with open arms. Those was his words. So I don't know. Kaepernick been practicing with some people the past few months, and so I don't know where it came from. I was just taking a little break, and I saw where he said that he will welcome him with open arms. So.
It'd be interesting to see. At least that's someone started up. I know he did say something in reference to Pete Carroll, which he didn't believe what he was talking about. What he's talking about, that he should be a starter. Of course, of lately, just like G was talking about, Kaepernick has stated that he's willing to take a backup role. He just wants to get back in the league so he can have an opportunity and a chance. So, I'm all for it. Kaepernick, see what you can do. So additionally, before we get into y'all and Houston Energy and everything like that, I guess another surprise to a quarterback, a top tier quarterback, as Lamar Jackson's response to the fact of them trading Marquise Hollywood Brown was WTF. Like what? Not to mention that you go and I wonder, you go and you send my top receiver to the other conference, but in return you bring in a center. G was just talking about how important the line is, and it's overlooked when we talk about especially offensive line. I have just be honest. I have just recently, in the last couple of years, started to pay attention to offensive line because I have always been a person that has taken a look at, like we just said, like Brian just said, the sexy positions. So, but I don't know about the center, bringing in a center though. Like y'all, please enlighten me. Brian, a center, a receiver for a center.
But
Yeah.
why? Before Brian answered that, why? What's wrong with the center over a wide receiver?
So
How many centers do y'all feel is important? Like your center runs the offensive field. Y'all may not think so, but if your center get hurt, you can't put the wide receiver out there to replace the center. I'm
So
just saying.
in flag football, like I play flag football, like Brian was asking before we got on, like how what service was he in? I was an Army, 22 years in the Army. Ron was in the Air Force. So my 22 years in the Army. Unlike Bishop, because Bishop played a lot of semi-pro, I didn't play semi-pro. I played a lot of flag. So of course, for me in the flag, because the only reason I played the position in which I played flag, because later in my life I played center because I started picking up weight. But these hands are still lethal, and you put anything in my vicinity, is I'm going to get it. So but I had like G was just saying, I had to play center. I had to be the one. I played on the JBM on our JBM post team as we played against the Navy a lot of times, and I played center. And I always, like you just said, hey, point out, call everything. It was that type of stuff, but still a center for a wide receiver from
Why
a
you keep
quarterback.
saying it like that? Like
Coach, help me out because I'm
Uh,
trying to make heads or
yeah,
tails.
yeah. There's this. I will say this: this trade for Hollywood Brown, it goes deeper than what people think,
Mm-hmm.
because Hollywood Brown and Lamar Jackson are two South Floridians. They're like brothers.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if you guys paid attention, but after they announced a trade, Hollywood Brown was in Arizona taking a picture
Yeah,
with
take a picture with their fans.
So if they're boys and they're tight, why didn't Lamar know that Hollywood Brown was being traded? So that, Lamar can't be mad at the franchise because obviously Hollywood Brown asked to be traded. Now, the reason he asked to be traded, I'm sure, is because even though Lamar's his boy, their passing game is trash. And when your tight end leads the team in catches,
Yeah.
and but maybe they brought a center in because they're more run centric. They need more protection for Lamar. They're going to run the ball.
Mm-hmm.
I will say this: it's crazy how the NFL works. It's a big fraternity. The offensive coordinator for the Baltimore Ravens is named Greg Roman.
Mm-hmm.
Greg was my assistant strength coach when I played in Carolina. Assistant strength coach. And now he's a freaking highly touted offensive coordinator. A couple years ago, he was up for the Buffalo head coaching job. He was up for a whole bunch of head coaching jobs. But the NFL is a big fraternity. Once you're in, you're in. He followed Coach Capers from there to the Texans. Then he became the tight ends coach for the Texans, and then he went on somewhere else. And he ended up going to San Francisco. Offensive coordinator with Harbaugh, and that's when they took Kaepernick to the Super Bowl. And then he ended up leaving. But it's not a sexy trade-off, a center for a receiver. But
so G couldn't even hold her face anymore. Like, no, G, it's not.
Yeah. But maybe that's an indictment on the type of offense they run. Maybe they feel like is
changing of the guard.
They can get a receiver in the third round that does what they need him to do. It's a whole bunch of RPOs. Lamar's going to use his legs. They're going to have a heavy running game, and boom, boom, they'll dink and dunk, but they don't have that home run threat in Hollywood. Hollywood was, but I never felt Hollywood was a true number one.
True that.
He seems brittle. He's small, but he's fast.
He wasn't the best in hands. Drops a lot of drops. Yeah.
But maybe they just need I don't know if they lost their center last year or what, but that's just an indictment on probably what they're going to do next year. Lamar ain't going to just outpass anybody. He's
And
going to
then
use his legs. Go ahead.
and G, we're talking about a center in football, not a center in basketball. Like
Exactly.
maybe I can understand a tackle, a guard, but a center
Yeah.
for what was our top receiver, our top wide receiver, because we like you just said, the top receiver is a tight end. But so a center, we talking about a center,
Yeah.
like so that's what it was. But like you said, it wasn't a sexy pick, but it may be the pick in which they needed. Like Key said, protection for Lamar. And like Coach just said, they do have two thoroughbreds and running backs that wasn't able to play last year due
Yeah.
to injury. So maybe they are just going to push the
Yeah.
run game with the RPOs and the misdirections and everything going forth. So
There
no,
was something. There was something in the water last year in Baltimore. They had so many injuries. They had some man DBs running back. I mean, it was. I don't know what was going on there, but they were
or
losing
maybe
guys right and left.
bad conditioning. Maybe I don't know. It
Yep.
remains to be seen. So let's get into the Houston Energy. I know G, you was kind of like looking like you was chomping at it. So what led to the explosion in y'all's last game last week, G?
Well, one, I say we got chewed out every day since the second game. Like literally, we had to hear from all four coaches. But no, it other than us getting chewed out, you evaluate yourself. You self-evaluate. Coach always tell us to watch film and to look at yourself. My defensive coach always say the bird in the sky don't lie. So
Mm.
I think for most of us, we just took time out to watch ourselves and see what we did wrong or see what we could have did better at. For me, I watch my position. I watch the person that I was guarding position. I just watch a few things and I see how I can better myself. Um, so last week, we had to put up a nice little fight. I'm not gonna say it was easy. It was a catwalk. We did work. We all got bruises and bumps and scratches. Um, I would say that we could have did better. Our coaches are always striving us for greatness. So yeah, it was 36, coach, 38 points that we made, but our talent that we have on our team, we should have at least been able to put 50 points on the board.
I
Like
was about to say
we
you're not going to sit here and act like y'all like you said better. I was like, what's better, a shutout? Like y'all 30. You said 38. You ain't say the rest of the score. Don't try to save no feelings. 38 to what was it? 38 to
Oh,
6.
I'm not saving no feelings.
Okay,
It was
okay,
38-6. I'm
okay,
just speaking for us.
okay.
I'm speaking for us that our expectations that our coaches have for us, we should be putting basketball points on the board. Like we
Mm.
should have been 50 and up. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, I feel you. Okay, I got you. I
Mhm.
got you. So question, G. I just thought about this when you said something. Do you ever find does the scheme? And what I'm not sure what scheme y'all be running. But does the scheme ever put it to where you are up the field with a running back, linebacker, just a short amount of zones? Do you find yourself guarding people in space? What does that look like? Can you tell us your defensive prowess?
Um, are you said when I play on the O line or when I play on the D line?
D line.
So I try to be. I'm not the smallest D line, lineman. I have been working on my health, so I've
Okay.
lost a good 65 pounds. So
Uh-huh.
I do get up the field a lot
Okay. Okay.
quicker.
Okay.
This year I've noticed that I've been able to run down to one side of the field to the other side without, being tired.
Okay.
I haven't caught the running back yet, wide receiver yet, but I'm almost there.
It's
I'm
coming. It's
getting
coming.
close.
It's coming.
Yeah, it's coming.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Hopefully, maybe I see it. Like I said, I plan to be at the Zydeco Spice game as I'll be coming back from New
The
Orleans from a
Lafayette.
yeah. So I'm gonna try to make that game. I've been trying to get in contact with them so I can get them on, but that hasn't been going well. So hey, if it doesn't happen, so when I'm sitting over there talking to the Houston Energy, don't take it any particular way. But so, Coach,
Yes, sir.
tell us about this track. Continues to tell us about this track to what led you to coaching and taking over the Houston Energy, and and then of course the as I said explosion that y'all caught after. I guess it wasn't a dismal loss. Like y'all only lost by what, a couple of points the other day, the
Well,
last 2nd week.
4 points. Four
Yeah, so
points. I'll talk about the explosion first. Well,
okay.
we lost by 4 points. But as we watched film, we realized that we probably should have won that game. And I try to implore to the ladies, little things matter. Little things matter. They make a big difference. We do a zone blocking scheme. If one person steps to the left and one person steps to the right, there's a big hole right there. So we got to get everybody in unison, doing the right things, making the right blocks. And we feel as a team, we lost. Give all credit to the Arlington Impact, but we feel like we left several plays on the field that would have been difference makers, and we should have won the game. My personal thoughts. So what we did, we just tightened up, watched film, tightened up the mistakes, and we had something to prove. It just so happened that Austin was our next opponent. It didn't matter who it was. We just got to get back in the winning column. Now we won 38-6.
Mm-hmm.
Just like G said, I feel like we should have won 50-0, not 50-6. We still made mistakes. I tell the ladies all the time, it's never as good as you think it is, and it's never as bad as you think it is. So, it's a process. We're on our journey, and this is the next step. Austin was our next step. Now the Mile High Blaze is our next step, and we just got to get better, man. We got to fine tune. If we can tighten up our mistakes each week, we're just going to gel and mesh at the right time. And hopefully that time will be right in the playoffs. It just happened to be, we're on a mission. We definitely didn't want to lose 2 games. I don't think since I've been here, we've lost 2 games in a row. So we've never lost 2 games in a row. They just happened to be our next victim. We tightened up the screws, and we were just a better team than Austin.
Okay.
At the end of the day, we were just a better team. We were supposed to win that game. And, we just gotta win the games that we're supposed to win, and we got to win the games that we're not supposed to win as well. We played a good game against Arlington, but we're not here for participation trophies. At the end of the day, we lost. Whether it's 1 point, 4 points, 100 points, we lost, and we just got to tighten up. But I think the girls know that we left some plays on the field, and we should have won. I mean, in the Arlington game, one of our girls caught a pass on the 4-yard line with a minute left, and it got, as soon as she hit the ground, the ball popped out. I like our chances 1st and 10 with a minute left on a 4-yard line. I like our chances there. But it didn't happen like that. And football is a game of plays. When your number is called, whether it's the block, the run, the tackle, the catch, the throw, you got to make that play. The caveat here is you never know when your play is going to be called or when that opportunity comes. So you just got to be, locked in for 3 hours, 4 quarters. So when your time is called, you're able to rise to the occasion and make the play. And at the end of the day, Trey, we just didn't make the plays in Arlington. We were athletically better than the Austin team, and that's no disrespect to them. We're just a better team. We did what we were supposed to do. But as a coach, I don't even want to get scored on. So we had 38 points, but easily should have been mid 40s, 50s.
Okay.
That's just all in our process. It's all a process, and we just got to tighten up. A win to win, no matter how you look at it, and we're here. So the second part of your question, why the Houston Energy?
Yes.
I tell people all the time, I have hashtags. It's bigger than football. I laugh and tell people all the time, I do the Houston Energy because I just couldn't afford to buy the Texans. You know what, man? A lot of these ladies come from all different walks of life. I'm coach to some, big brother to some, daddy to some, uncle. I wear a lot of different hats. And, maybe football is where we met. But at the end of the day, man, it's just a matter of trying to help these ladies get to where they want to get to in life, give them the self-confidence, give them the self-worth to be anything they can be. And so it's bigger than football. We help a lot of people out. But again, through my time in football from little league to the NFL, you meet a lot of people and you're still friends with a lot of people, the relationships. And I try to, create that type of environment. So, you may play a couple years, but hopefully you've learned something, you've got something from your participation with the energy that'll help you as you're moving on into life, man. But at the end of the day, man, this is only a small period. Even people like G played 11 years, going to play 15 years. This is, at the end of the day, that's only a small portion of your life. I want all these ladies to be good in life, not so much football. As a football coach, if all I've taught you is how to be good in football, well then I've made a mistake. Yeah, I failed you. And so man, it's just about giving these ladies an opportunity to play a game that they love, to stay active, and to be a part of something bigger than them. And a lot of times, man, we get people out of jail. We get people from all different walks of life, man, and we open our arms to them. And hopefully, when they walk away from our program, they're better women. And that's just kind of what it's about for me.
I can hear that. Ron, you there?
Yes, sir.
So I ask you this, Ron: if you were to become a W a NW in
WFA.
WFA franchisee, what would your team be called?
Oh, wow. Hmm. Philadelphia Dominators.
You going with that, y'all? Kelly Green and black too. That's the color scheme.
I like black and purple.
Black and purple. Okay, no problem.
We
No
leave bruises.
problem. So, Coach Brian. So, in this sense, what let's say is that same what you was just saying, is that what has kept you in the WFA, or have you thought about, because I know it's plenty of different men's organizations and things of that nature when you come to a lower tier of football. So has that is that where your love is, and that's what has kept you in the WFA and continue to push the Houston Energy agenda?
Absolutely. I coach little league. I could do a select team. I could do a lot of different things. I just think my calling is the women and women's football. And man, it's all about touching lives, man. And I think I'm needed here. When I feel like my time is done, I'll step aside. I'll give the coaching reins to somebody else, but we'll still have the team. But I think it's most needed here in women's football. I always said one day, I hope that these ladies play in front of a crowd like I played in front of. If we can get 2,000, 3,000, 5,000 at a game, that would be phenomenal. To get them to run out the tunnel and just see all those fans. But right now, man, I think my calling is women's football. This has been my full-time job that I do not make a penny at and actually lose money, but I enjoy what I do. I enjoy the interaction, and I enjoy just touching lives, man. And I think that's what I'll continue to do until I feel like I need to give up the reins.
So how much of a because I've heard of the Houston Energy wave long before, like we talking about back in what 2006 maybe or something like that, because like I was telling G, I used to I knew a young lady who was a national active guardsman who she played for the St. Louis Slam. So her playing for the St. Louis Slam, I was in Texas at the time in Fort Hood. So me doing my research, I knew about the Houston Energy. Of course, I came across the Houston Power, Austin Outlaws, and all that type of stuff in that area. So for you in that Houston area, how much of a following do y'all have when it comes to the energy?
First and foremost, Houston Energy is the longest standing women's football team in the United States. I think we got a good following. I mean, there's a couple other teams that are breakoffs from the Energy. In the women's community, everybody knows who the Houston Energy is. We just got to get people out there that aren't in the community. So, women's football community to come out and see the games.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, at the end of the day, you gotta love what we're doing in order to support. We get our friends and family at the games, but I tell my buddies all the time, man, you got to come out and see these ladies play. Once they come out and see them play, they're like, dang, okay, I see you. And if I had to equate it to something, I would say more like a JV football game.
Okay.
We do have some ladies who hit, but as a whole, as a team, we're not busting heads like varsity, college, nothing like that. And I guess in all fairness, if somebody wants to see real football, they'll go to the Texans game, go to the college game. But man, I just wish they would give these women an opportunity to see what we're doing over here, and I promise you they'll be impressed.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So I want to go back into a couple more of the NFL topics and come back to y'all in reference. I'll have the Mile Blaze this week, upcoming week, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
yes, sir.
We'll get into that. So, of course, one of the things in which we was talking about the fact of Hollywood Brown is now Arizona Cardinal. Additionally, Ron, I will point this towards you. What is up with Green Bay not drafting any wide receivers? Is it just a thought? Is this potentially a thought of there's a heavy wide receiver group in this draft, and they can get probably a diamond in the rough late in the draft, or
I thought it was. I was
coupled
gonna give
with
him
they
Debo.
just want to build their defense, taking the defense.
No, I said I thought it was because y'all were gonna give him Debo.
Oh, you trying to be funny. Very funny guy. No, we're not giving
Nah,
Debo.
in all honesty, we all have learned that the Packers could care less about what Aaron Rodgers wants and needs. Last year was an anomaly. They brought in all his homies. Cobb, I forget the linebacker's name, but that 1 year they decided to lean to what he needed. But he signed a max contract, and Green Bay is Green Bay. They're like, okay, let's get back to what we do. Building defense, which is great, and thankfully Aaron Rodgers doesn't need major wide receivers to do what he does. He can have the four of us out there. He's going to throw for 4,000 yards, 40 touchdowns, 5 interceptions.
I can understand it. Question to you, Brian. Kenny Pickett, first quarterback off the board to the Pittsburgh Steelers at number 20. Does Mitchell Trubisky have issues now?
That's a good question. I'm thinking that's what the Steelers are hoping for. They got Trubisky. I don't think Trubisky's a number one quarterback. And I think at a Malik and Kenny Pickett's the more NFL ready quarterback right now. So I think that the Steelers are hoping that Pickett can come in and take the starting spot. I think they knew going into it, if they would have picked Malik Willis, that he wasn't going to be ready. They might have a certain package for him, but he might be more like a more running quarterback, uses athletic ability. But I'm thinking the Steelers are hoping that Pickett will be the future and hopefully have some Ben Roethlisberger-esque in him and be there for the next 10, 15 years.
So, question. Kansas City, it was stated that Kansas City and Los Angeles Chargers are going to be the first team to play on the Thursday night, new Thursday night with Amazon Prime. September 15th, represent the Virgos. That'll be my birthday. Tony Gonzalez is announced as an NFL analyst. Are you interested in listening to Tony Gonzalez as an analyst?
Not really.
I thought the same thing. I was like, Booger, Fart, McFarlane, like these people, like no, Tony Gonzalez, like really. I was able to rock with him when he was working with Fox, and they'll come on. Nothing against Tony Gonzalez, he from Cal, but I don't know if I want to hear him throughout the course of a game talking. I just got used to listening to Tony Romo, so of course that. So and of course, lastly, as any of y'all can answer, New Orleans. I know I got some Saints fans that's in there. I know I got some Saints fans that's in there. Basically, New Orleans sent the number 16 pick and they drafted Chris to move up to get the 11th pick, and they drafted Chris Olave. Do y'all think that's going to be beneficial to New Orleans now to add Chris Olave with Michael Thomas with James Winston at the helm?
I'll start, and I'm not a big Saint, and I'm not a Saints hater, not a big Saints fan, but I will say I think there's somebody within the Saints organization that wants Jameis to be successful. And I think they're just adding another weapon to Jameis to help him help his progression. I think they believe in Jameis and they want to give him another weapon, one of those little shiny objects and on the outside. And Olave's good. And if they can get Olave to be productive along with Michael Thomas, man, that'd be nice, man. Thomas, I mean, did he even play last year, or was the ankle still? Yeah, I mean, people kind of forgot sleeping on him, man. If he comes back healthy, he's a beast. Again, that would be your number one, and then that will give Olave a couple years to get his stuff together. But man, I think the relationship in New Orleans and with Michael Thomas, that might be a little contentious too. So I'm not sure. Maybe they got Olave just in case Thomas acts up and they may want to get rid of him, or he may end up leaving. But I think ultimately they got Jameis another weapon, and hopefully they're hoping that he'll be successful, and maybe another go-to guy might, help his progression. Just my thoughts. I'll let G and Ron talk on, see what their thoughts are.
Well, I have a question specifically for G, but Ron, you can go ahead. What you think about Olave to New Orleans?
New Orleans is a 10-win team minimum if Jameis stays healthy. But I think we've seen the end of Michael Thomas's dominance. Not saying that he still can't be a good wide receiver. Should still be a decent number one. But I think it's great for them. Let's go, Jameis.
See, I in my mind, what I heard you say it is pushing San Francisco further down the line, and basically saying something like New Orleans probably going to be the number 4 or number 5 in the conference. That's what I heard. You know what I'm saying? That's my
8 or 9 wins this year.
G. Like I said, I had a just specific question for you. So the Philadelphia Eagles, as well as with acquiring AJ Brown, they also moved up to draft defensive tackle from Georgia, Jordan Davis. The big guy with nice speed, presumably a monster. They traded up to get him, giving up 4 draft spots to Houston. Defensive tackles are worth that nowadays. G, would you agree?
Yes.
I see. I see the eyes even. I can see her head bobbing in my peripheral on the screen and everything like that. So okay, so you know, what I'm saying, so of course to everyone, Jordan Davis is he worth 4 draft, a first, a fourth, and 2 fifth rounders in the same draft to move up to get him? Is he that much of a problem?
Yes. Nobody else has to answer. Yes, he is. Yes, he is.
I think that goes with when you have your draft board and they have a guy that they want.
Oh yeah, they wanted him evidently.
They wanted him, and they wanted to make sure nobody else got him, and so obviously they feel like he's worth whatever it takes to get him. So yeah,
he's there to cause havoc, and that's what he's going to do. The middle's supposed to cause havoc, and he's gonna shake up some feathers right there.
Whew. We'll see. I don't think. Do we play them? I don't think so. Well, in case it don't make a difference. So, Coach G, what is Mile High Blaze? What can we expect? They come to y'all, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Man, Mile High Blaze is a good team, and this is going to be a good test for us as a team to see exactly where we are. They're coming in 2-1. We're 2-1. We lost to them a couple years ago in Denver on a Hail Mary last play of the game. We left some plays on the board. We gave them an opportunity. We fumbled going in to score. We're driving with a couple minutes left in the game. We fumbled on their 30 going in, and then they did a couple plays and threw a Hail Mary and caught a touchdown and beat us last play of the game.
Oh wow.
They're a good team, man. I'd be lying to say that I'm not nervous. We talked about this at practice yesterday. You're not so nervous when you prepared correctly. You know, I want everybody to I want to call the right plays. I want the girls to do what they're supposed to do, but a very winnable game at that. But we got to be on our game. We can't just think we can show up. We can't just flip the light switch at 6 o'clock at Crenshaw Stadium. We got to be in our bag today, looking at plays, visualization. We got to do a whole bunch of things to be successful. And when we understand and start realizing that you just can't show up on game day and expect to win, it's a process. You know, it's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, film. You know, you got to study your opponent, watch film. But all in all, Trey, it's a very winnable game. If we do what we're supposed to do, we'll win the game. If we get down on ourselves, we make mistakes, we can't spot them 20 points like we did the Arlington Impact. We got to come out guns blazing, because one, they're a good team, and good teams, you got to win in any game. You got to win 2 of the 3 facets of the game: offense, defense, or special teams. And we have to win 2 facets, and special teams has kind of been hurting us the last couple weeks, whole season actually. So if we do what we're supposed to do, Trey, we'll come out with a victory. But it's going to be a hard fought game, man. They're a good ass team, and we got to be on our you know what to win this game.
Okay. G, you been eating your
real
Wheaties?
quick.
You ready? You up for the task? Go ahead, Ron.
Yes, I am. I was preparing
What?
Saturday after the last game in Austin.
Okay.
I went
Ron.
home, got on my bike, been practicing. You know, I've been doing what I'm supposed to do since.
Okay. Ron, you was about to say something?
Yeah, it's been great meeting you, Brian and G. Trey, I got to roll out. Go
Yes, sir.
Sixers.
I know everyone. There you go with that BS. I know everyone's about. All right, I got you. I know everyone's about to.
My pleasure, Ron. My pleasure.
So yes, so G on the bike. So you ready? Locked in.
Yep, I don't have a choice.
2
Like I
sacks.
said, back to those expectations. I have expectations on both sides of the ball. You know, I play O and D, so I don't just have to hear it from one coach. Like I get it from all coaches. So yeah, I do a little extra during the week, you know, just so that I can be prepared mentally and physically for the game.
2 sacks, 4 pancakes.
I don't need no pancakes. But yeah, I get you. I'm striving for those sacks.
You said he's like you gonna get some. We gonna speak that in existence. At the end
Right.
by the end of the season, you are gonna have double-digit sacks.
Right. Before I go, can you ask Coach the Rushmore question? I'm
You
intrigued
want to
to
hear what
see
he
what
said?
he
You want
gonna
to hear?
say. Yeah.
All right,
Before
Coach.
I go.
So okay. So, Coach, what I usually ask people, guests that come on, we ask them to give us their Mount Rushmore in football. So, as of course by the request by G, what is your Mount Rushmore in football?
Wow.
It's NFL, Coach, not us.
Yeah. So I grew up a Pittsburgh Steeler fan.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I got to go with the New England Patriots.
No, individual players.
Oh, individual. Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Tom
That's
Brady.
even harder.
Yeah, that's even harder. You know, shit. Tom Brady. Now, what Rushmore's what? 5 people, 4 people?
Four. Yeah.
So I got to put Tom Brady on there for sure. Man, I got to put Ray Lewis at linebacker.
I told you.
I got to put Ray Lou. Controversial pick, didn't play a whole lot. I'm an old school guy, man. I want to say Jim Brown, Barry Sanders. I'll say Barry Sanders.
Mm-hmm.
Jerry Rice, Brady, Ray Lou, Jerry Rice. Man, I should have thought about this before I got on here. I want to say Jim Brown. I'm a big Jim Brown guy. I got his jersey in my room over there. And man, I know I'm missing somebody. I'm just gonna say Lawrence Taylor. Just off the I know I'm missing some people.
It's
Yeah,
hard. It's definitely
yeah,
hard. It's a
right.
hard one, especially you say basically you be like, yo, when you get to the last one, it's hard, but it's not really the last one. It's just picking in general. Usually the first one because everyone usually goes with the first, where there's one greatest players. So Brady, of course, is usually on everyone's, and then you start to walking in. It's like you start running out of slots. It's like and then you like you said, Jim Brown, Barry Sanders.
Man, that's
If it,
Jerry
anyone
Rice.
little, like you gonna say, it's a plethora of people at the end of the day. So, but I will say, you were on G's Rushmore.
Hey man, G's my biggest fan, bro. I ain't gonna lie, man. I gotta give her flowers, dog. She's come a long way from year 1 to year 11, and I gotta give her flowers, man. She's my biggest supporter. She has my back 100%, and I mean, I got mad love for G. Real talk.
I might have to sit and see what I can do this week to be up in Houston. It's only 3 hours away. I have to look and see if I can pull up to the game if it ain't got nothing going on. Oh no, I work this weekend. That's what's
You
going
better
on.
you better use your vacation days. Come on
Uh,
through.
I ain't got to worry that much about it. But it was like I would, you know what? I would, like I said, I would be there. But actually, if I wasn't I work this weekend. That's what it is. But of all weekends, there's so much stuff going on. You got the military national basketball tournament up in San Antonio, y'all game. And it's like everything in which I could have did this weekend is all covered because I have to work for about 3 or
Yeah.
4 hours this weekend. But like I said, I want to try my best to even get. I want to see y'all in your home environment. So I'm gonna try my best to see up and catch one, if it even has to be back to back, one of the two. Like I said, the one in Lafayette, and then maybe and come and see if I could catch y'all. And then y'all playoffs. I'm very sure y'all
Yeah,
should have playoff games.
we're gonna be there. This
Of
game this
course.
week is playoff implications. That's why we gotta win it. And and
Okay.
and not only playoff implications, but home field or we're traveling. So we win,
Mm-hmm.
we get probably get to host a game. If we lose, we'll be traveling somewhere.
Mm, that's we the
So
works. So I know y'all, say y'all had gave you an hour. Y'all got to get up out of here. Greatly appreciate y'all coming on and representing for the WFA, H Town, and the Houston Energy. Of course, y'all can let the people know just in case they're in or around the Houston area, or if y'all have someone which they can catch it on stream or something like that, where they can find that out so they can continue to follow y'all.
be at Crenshaw Stadium. We don't stream our games, but just come to Crenshaw Stadium. Let me get the address here. Crenshaw Memorial Stadium, 8540 CE King Parkway, Houston, Texas, 77004, or go to www.houstonenergyfootball.com, get your tickets, and come out and check out a good game. You will be impressed, trust me.
Okay, G, I know I see your you got a little fundraiser going on. Tell them about it so they can know what they're getting, how they can help, how they can support.
Yes, yes, yes. We are doing a square fundraiser where you just pick a square and that gives you that many entries into the drawing. So if you pick square 35, you get 35 entries into the drawing. First place winner gets $850. Second place winner gets $550. Third place gets 300. So I think it's a nice little fundraiser. It's a nice little gamble. Think about it. You get square 35 and you could potentially win up to $800. I think it's a nice little win.
Yes, yes, indeed. So, like you said, Houston Energy is plenty of WFA's teams, but this is the one in which we've been talking to, engaging with. You start to get that sense of, want to support. So be sure to, if you can support it anyway. At minimum, you can support by helping out, by doing the picking a square, and pay with the square that you pick is what you pay, correct?
Right. So if you pick square 20, it's $20. If you pick square 20 and 10, you pay $30.
So you know what I'm saying. So that's what you do. Popcorn ready, as they just stated. Y'all heard it here first. Miami, the Mile High Blaze is on notice. Walking into what's the what would y'all call y'all a stadium, if anything?
Uh, I don't even the pit.
The pit. You walk it, you pull it up in the pit. Miami, Mile High. If y'all pulling up in the pit, be ready to play. So I know they got to get up out of here. I greatly appreciate them coming on the show today. We look forward to possibly talking again, getting a talk throughout the season for the most part. Maybe he'll pull up and talk to him after the Blaze game. I mean, not the Blaze, after the Zydeco Spice game. We'll see. Of course, look forward to speaking to him again. G. Anyone. So if y'all know anyone, even if it's the adversaries, if it's the ops, you can send them my way. They can get on. We can talk so we can see what we can do to extend that. Like G, what you talking about, to see what we can, if there's a buzz we can create to where, of course, more buzz brings more notification, and now you have other people talking and wondering how do you better this game. So, of course, I can go ahead and let y'all go so y'all can get to y'all every day. I hope have a blessed day. And I continue to talk this. I got to get into this NBA talk for these high speeds. Greatly appreciate it. I'll talk to y'all later.
Take care. Peace.
Yes, yes. So what's going on, high speeds? Back to this. What we had had a little pull off for a second with the with the Houston Energy and Ron. So of course, to finish up on this draft, going through, of course, like we said, the first round surprising draft when you had Trayvon Walker taken number one overall by the Jacksonville Jaguars. Of course, number two, Aiden Hutchinson. Three, a surprise to me, even though he is a pretty good talent. Derek Stingley by the Houston Texans. Number four, Ahmad Sauce Gardner, cornerback. Number five, Kayvon Thibodeau, defensive end out of Oregon. Number six, Ikem Ekwonu, offensive tackle. Number six out of the Carolina Panthers. The New York Giants moved up to get Evan Neal out of Alabama, offensive tackle. Trojans, USC represent. Number 8, Drake London, wide receiver to the Atlanta Falcons. He's going to be expected to team up with he slipped my name, my tongue at the time. Team up with I have to come back to him. I can't remember the wide receiver that who basically betted, and now he can't. He's on suspension. Charles Cross, number 9, Seattle Seahawks. Number 10, Garrett Wilson, wide receiver out of Ohio State. Back to back when you have Chris Olave, number 11 pick out of Ohio State, another wide receiver. Jameson Williams out of Alabama to the Detroit Lions, wide receiver. Of course, we talked about Jordan Davis, number 13, this is defensive tackle from Georgia. Kyle Hamilton, as I heard you say, Key, y'all thought y'all was going to get Hamilton. Y'all went with Davis. Hamilton was available, but Hamilton now a Baltimore Raven. He's taking number 14th with his to the Ravens. Number 15, the Texans was back on the clock. They take Kenyon Green, offensive guard out of Texas A&M. Number 16, Jahan Dotson taken wide receiver, Penn State by the Washington Commanders. Number 17, Zion Johnson from Boston College, offensive guard taken by the Los Angeles Chargers. And we talked about the number 18 pick, which was picked up from the Philadelphia Eagles in the trade with the Tennessee Titans. The Titans used that trade to select Arkansas wide receiver Treylon Burks. I hear you, Leo. Who that? Trevor Penning was taken next. North Iowa's offensive tackle, number 19 by the New Orleans Saints. Trevor Penning. Kenny Pitt, as we discussed earlier, number 20 pick from out of Pittsburgh, staying home just across the complex as he will be playing with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Trent McDuffie, cornerback from the University of Washington, will be a Kansas City Chief, taken with the 21st pick. The 22nd pick, Quay Walker, taken by the Green Bay Packers, an inside linebacker out of Georgia, one of 5 defensive players taken in the first round by the University of Georgia. Kyer Elam, number 23 pick, taken by the Buffalo Bills, cornerback out of Florida. Tyler Smith, offensive tackle, taken by the Dallas Cowboys at the 24th pick. 25th pick, Tyler Lindenbaugh, center, taken by the Baltimore Ravens out of Iowa. The 26th pick, Jermaine Johnson II, out of Florida State, defensive end, taken by the New York Jets. The Jacksonville Jaguars traded back into the first round to pick up inside linebacker Devin Lloyd with the 27th pick as they look to continue to build their defense. Devontae Wyatt, defensive tackle, taking the 28th pick by Green Bay. Cole Strange, offensive guard, taken by Chattanooga with the 29th pick. George Kalafdis, defensive end out of Purdue. As y'all know, the Purdue spoil makers, as they were dubbed last year, as they had an affinity for spoiling top ranked teams. He was taken with the 30th pick by the Kansas City Chiefs. And of course, the last two picks of the draft was 31 pick Michigan safety Daxton Hill, taken by the Cincinnati Bengals, and Lewis Kine, the Georgia safety, taken with the 32nd pick from the Minnesota Vikings. So, of course, a very heavy Georgia laden draft, a lot of offensive linemen, corners for the most part, and it was a defensive first round. Of course, today we look forward to checking out who's on the clock. Tampa Bay will be the first team on the clock with the 33rd overall pick, first in the second round, as the second round starts today. So let me know if you think your team did a great job. What grade do you give your squad in this year's draft as it starts for the first round? Some of us, unlike others, didn't have a first round draft. Our talent was drafted at some point. 49ers got Trey Lance last year, and we gave up draft picks to get him, so we didn't have a first round. True that, Leo, no running backs. And which brings that to question: is it going to be a heavy running back second round, or is running back a diminishing position? Is that what we're looking at, where the running backs aren't as valued before? Where we have more wide receivers and linemen from an offensive standpoint. You feeling y'all Saints picks? Alave, y'all giving weapons to Jameis. He got on that downfield, getting some downfield threats. Saints, Philly, y'all, how y'all feel about the Philly trades, the Philly movement? How y'all feel about what the Jets did? Like, was there anyone that didn't work out? Underrated running backs look underrated. Well, it remains to be seen. I think what it is, Leo, is when you have people like the Debo Samuels that can play the wide receiver and can be put in the position used in running back sets. I think that starts to reset that market, which is like we can get a better wide receiver that can do this. But then, of course, now what you have in Debo, in my opinion, is that he's trying to thwart that reset of the market. Even though it's speculation that that's what he has a problem with, is being used in that role. Offensive guard, y'all trying to I think y'all who Collins, I think JP, y'all trying to third degree threefold, y'all trying to replace Jaleel Collins, who y'all lost. It remains to be seen. Or hopefully, it'll all work out in the end. Of course, if y'all not doing anything, like I said, if you're in Houston, please go check out the Houston Energy's game. Additionally, the USF probably. So the USFL, of course, y'all know will be playing as it plays. It starts today. They play their Friday game, Saturday game, and then they'll have a game on Sunday. But the game of the week for the USFL was flexed to their prime time, which is going to be 7:00 on Saturday, as their only two undefeated teams, the New Orleans Breakers, will face off against the Birmingham Stallions. as the all the games are played in Birmingham at this point. So the home team, who is one of the only undefeated, one or two undefeateds, will be facing off against the New Orleans Breakers to at this point to see who is the better team, who will be the only remaining undefeated team in the USFL for this week. At this juncture, in their third week, already have to sit up and have a marquee game. So if you ain't doing nothing, be sure to check that out. I think that's on Fox Sports Network, going forth the USFL. So of course, last night, even though it was vaguely overshadowed by the NFL, there were in the NBA games, and there was a lot of stuff going on, of course. And first, before that, Jimmy Butler was fined. These fines keep coming up. I don't know what it is about this year, but these fines just keep rearing their ugly head in the NBA. So, of course, 3 fines was handed out, all going towards the Miami Heat, as they dished out roughly cumulatively $55,000 in fines, as Jimmy Butler was fined $15,000 for what is considered to be an obscene gesture, and then additionally, the Miami Heat organization was fined $15,000 because they went and they posted him communicating that obscene gesture via the internet. So they was fined $30,000 total, and then Markieff Morris was additionally fined $25,000 for his interference from the bench as when they played during the Atlanta Hawks series, as he grabbed one of the players, I'm assuming jokingly, and the player was not able to get back in to establish themselves. As they was receiving a pass, and he was fined $25,000 for interference. So that's almost $300,000 in fines since the beginning of the playoffs, or just towards the end of the season, in which they've had. Like, that's money in the bank. NBA is collecting some checks, getting their bags. Of course, additionally, as we all know, Milwaukee did move on as they finish off the Chicago Bulls. I think day before yesterday with the 4-1 a gentleman's sweep. Chris Middleton is not expected to be able to play in their next series as they play versus Boston. So of course we'll get to that a little later in the show. But no Chris Middleton. Boston is on deck. We'll talk about it shortly. So to recap yesterday's NBA action, going back to the old moniker, NBA action is fantastic. Of course, you had the Philadelphia against the Toronto Raptors, Dallas Mavericks versus the Utah Jazz, and of course the Phoenix Suns versus the Pelicans, in which, let's start with this Mavericks game first. The Mavs were able to knock off the Utah Jazz with a 4-2 series win, in which the Mavericks won 98-96, led by Luka Doncic as well as Jalen Brunson's 24 points apiece. Luka finishing with 9 rebounds and 8 assists to boot. Jalen Brunson, 3 rebounds, 2 assists for him. 19 points, 1 rebound, 2 assists from Spencer Dinwiddie. 18 points, 10 rebounds, 5 assists from Dorian Finney-Smith. 7 points from Max Kleber. 6 points from Reggie Bullock. And no one else scored that played any minutes, but they didn't need it as they were able to flex the Jazz out. Jazz led by 23 points from Donovan Mitchell with 8 rebounds, 9 assists. 15 points, Jordan Clarkson, 6 rebounds, 1 assist. 19 points, 4 rebounds, 1 assist from Bojan Bogdanovic. 8 points from Royce Neal. Double-double from Rudy Gobert. 10 points, 12 rebounds, no assists. Mike Conley Jr., 11 rebounds, 11 points, 4 rebounds, 8 assists, as the appreciate it. No assists as they were able to get rid of Mavs were able to get take out the Jazz. It wasn't easy, as stated by Luka Doncic, as he watched as Bojan Bogdanovic, who usually is a pretty good shooter. A play was called, time was called. Dan Snyder called the play, allowed for his route to get the play off to where they hit Bogdanovich over in the corner with a lead pass in which he got Spencer did hit the pump fake, got Spencer did with the glide past him and had an open 3-pointer in which he is the best shooter on the coin as the best shooter on the Utah Jazz. Open 3-pointer and it hit the back iron. He was not able to knock it down. If he would have made the shot, it would have basically forced a game 7 back in Dallas. It didn't work. So now basically the Mavs move on to take on another team in which we'll talk about as they go on and move on to the second round. Additionally, as we stated last night, the Philadelphia 76ers took on the Toronto Raptors in what's a lot thought was going to be a game 7 forcing victory for the Toronto Raptors, in which it did not become that. A thorough blowout as the 76ers win 132-97. Raptors led by Pascal Siakam's 24 points, 7 rebounds, and 7 assists. 25 points from Cruz Boucher. 25 points, 10 rebounds, no assists, 24 points, 7 rebounds, 7 assists from Pascal Siakam, 19 points, 2 assists from Gary Trent Jr., 18 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists from the reigning Rookie of the Year, Scotty Barnes. And then, of course, 3 points from Precious Achiuwa and DeLon Branton, as they were not able to handle the onslaught from the Philadelphia 76ers, as everyone talked about. We all talked about it. Y'all all asked for it. Philly fans asked for it, and y'all got it as James Harden showed up. Joel Embiid, 33 points, 10 rebounds, 1 assist. Tyrese Maxey, 25 points, 3 rebounds, 8 assists. James Harden, 22 points, 6 rebounds, 15 assists, as he came in, did damage, made sure that he was able to help for his team to solidify this victory. Tobias Harris, 19 points, 11 rebounds, 2 assists, 12 points, 5 rebounds from Danny Green. George Niang, 6 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 points, 1 rebounds from Shake Milton, and then Paul Reed, 9 points, 4 rebounds, 1 assist, as the 76ers was able to dominate this game, able to show the Raptors that it wasn't what they thought it was. Of course, there was a clip of Drake talking and chopping it up with Joel Embiid at the end of the game, in which he basically walked up and said, "Congratulations," but the Miami Heat are going to sweep, as the next opponent that the 76ers will play against will be the Miami Heat for the next 4-game series. And of course, with one of the most impressive showings in a while, since the era of Wilt Chamberlain, had we not had such a feat, as the Phoenix Suns were able to take out the New Orleans Pelicans with the 4-2 series win, as the Suns beat the Pelicans 115-109. Pelicans led by Brandon Ingram's 21 points, 5 rebounds, 11 assists, 16 points apiece from Herb Johnson and CJ McCollum, 4 rebounds and 4 assists for Jones, 3 rebounds, 1 assist for McCollum. Trey Murphy, 12 points, 3 rebounds, 15 points, 8 rebounds, 1 assist from Larry Nance. Jose Alvarado, 11 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists. Jonas Valanciunas, 10 rebounds, 10 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists. But it just wasn't enough, as the point guard, Chris. Well, we're not going to even get to Chris yet. We'll talk about DeAndre Ayton, 22 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists. Cameron Johnson, 13 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist. Cameron Payne, 3 rebounds, 3 points. Devin Booker made his comeback, coming back off a hamstring injury. 13 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, and 32 minutes of plays. 18 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists from Mike Kyle Bridges, who allowed them to, who his output in Game 5 allowed them to win the game. Jay Crowder, 9 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists. But Chris Paul, say it with your chest, 33 points, 5 rebounds, 8 assists, but that doesn't even tell the story, as Chris Paul was able to get the 14 for 14, 100% field goal percentage, not missing a single shot, going 14 for 14 from the field goal, 4 for 4 from the 3 point, 4 for 4 from the free throw, as well as 1 for 1 from the behind the arc. Like I said, that feat has not been done since the days of Will Chamberlain, as he is the only other player in NBA history to finish the night with over 10 free field goals, which he's done it twice with a 18 for 18 and a 16 for 16. So if it was a question, which I don't ever think it was, it is now clear that CP3, future Hall of Famer, once he hangs up, first ballot Hall of Famer, definitely without any doubt. He showed, yes, Leo, CP3. That's all you can say. CP3, man. Like, that man put on a clinic, and showed that, I won't even hold y'all. I thought that it was all Devin Booker. Without Devin Booker, they weren't going to be successful. CP3 showed his efficiency and basically showed that he is the problem, not Devin Booker. He is the Robin. I mean, he is the Batman, not the Robin. Justice League, as Ron has said plenty times before. Chris Paul just basically showed out. He pulled up, showed out, put his team on his back, showed that they weren't ready. It wasn't going back to about to go back to Phoenix. It wasn't about to remotely give uh New Orleans an opportunity or a chance to grow themselves and make a name off them. They wasn't trying to have the Denver versus Utah situation with Denver got rid of the number 1 seed. He put an end to all that and made sure that it wasn't happening, Captain, not in this day and age. So now they will go on to take on the Dallas Mavericks for their second round matchup. Of course, tonight, one game slated. At this point, Leo, floor general is an understatement. I think, like, that man he did exactly what he needed to do. True enough. Hats off to him. That's all I can say, Leo. Hats off to him. That man set up and represented and did exactly what he needed to do. All the talking, like, he willed this team when his counterpart went down. He basically wielded this team this up and get those W's. Point guard, as they say, without a doubt. He is definitely a certified Hall of Famer once he hangs those shoes up. Of course, one game tonight, as now only one series is left in question. The Memphis Grizzlies, 3-2, will take on the 2-3 Minnesota Timberwolves in Minnesota, as Memphis looks to get the W to send Minnesota packing, or send them to their locker room so they can pack up their stuff, go ahead and have the exit interviews right after the game. There's no reason to wait till tomorrow. And enjoy y'all soon to vacation. Do we have a situation to where Minnesota forces the game 7 back in Memphis? Does Minnesota want to go back to Memphis, or would you just rather lose on your home floor so you ain't got to go for too far? And Vital play PTP or definitely Leo, without a doubt. He did exactly what he needs to do. So it's and maybe we get that tonight from John Morant. Do we get a PTP for John Morant? Is it a possibility? Does he put him on his back, or does Cat sit up and represent and show out? Like, what do y'all think? What do y'all say? Who y'all taking tonight? Memphis or Minnesota? Uh, I like to hear it. You know what I'm saying? Shout it out. I like to hear what you high schools got to say. Post your comments, of course, to let me know who y'all got tonight. Is it Memphis? Is it the Grizzlies? Who wins game 6 tonight? Or is it Memphis winning the game 6? Or is it Minnesota forcing the game 7? I like to hear what y'all think. While we wait for that, also, Memphis will be in without Adams, as he is currently in the health protocol for COVID. So they would have a little less for their deepness on their bench. Does Brandon Clark show up? Does Jared Jackson Jr. the third, does he show up? What do you foresee for tonight's game? As that'll be the 8 o'clock game tonight, prime time. Mm. All or nothing prime. Yes, true that, Leo. I think Ja does have that mindset. He's embracing the villain role, I think, at this point, to where he's looked at it as if talk that ish, you know what I'm saying? And we gonna back it up. Additionally, of course, they have Patrick Beverly, who is the ultimate villain on the other side. Cat seems like he's starting to Karl Anthony Towns seems to be trying to embrace that villain role. Is not maybe the best suiting for him. Like they was talking about yesterday, if y'all called us yesterday, in which team CTX was on, and they talked about how you know your role, and that's in every aspect, I think, of the game, whether it's on the court, off the court. You just have to know your role, and sometimes you don't need to stick into certain roles. Cat as a villain is not a role that is clearly for Patrick Beverly, but this will be a hard one. I'll reserve it a little later to see what it is that Memphis is going to do, or to say whether no, you know what, I'm rocking with Memphis. I think Memphis pulls this one out. If not, I think the game 7 is going to be hellacious. Applewhite, okay, Minnesota's spirit is broken, but they are playing at home. It may go 7, but if it's going to be hard to beat Memphis at home in the game 7, I agree, Sauce. I definitely agree. That's a large order for them to get the W in if they win tonight, for them to go on Sunday and get that W in Minnesota. Uh, it's going to be electric there. And I was looking at, because now if we get a Memphis win tonight, we're looking at a Warriors versus Grizzlies matchup that might be the most electric one in the second round, let alone the over the court of the whole NBA playoffs, with still through 2 rounds to go after the fact. Like, I'm for all that. I'm wanting to see. I think anything in that case. I think that whether it's Memphis or Timberwolves, either of those will be a hot one. I think if we get a game 7 force tonight, and you get a Memphis at home, Memphis takes care of business at home. But I think it becomes a situation where Golden State has the opportunity to come into Memphis for that series to probably take away a win from them, because they might still be on that emotional high, coming down off that emotional high, and forcing winning a game 7 on your home court and having to get ready to play a game 2 for the first game of the second round against a hot team might be a little too much, and they might not recover from it, because I can see the Golden State Warriors truly applying that pressure to cause problems. But like I said, I'm for it. The Memphis Grizzlies, a Golden State matchup, even the Memphis Grizzlies with a Golden State versus the Minnesota Timberwolves in the second round would be interesting as well. I'll be there for that too. I would just hope that Minnesota can get their stuff together. But I think that's more of a competitive edge if you get Memphis against Golden State. So, of course, y'all let me know. Memphis, Golden State, Minnesota, Golden State, what are y'all trying to see? As the other 3 series have already been locked down, as we have Boston versus Milwaukee, Miami versus Philly, and Phoenix versus Dallas on deck coming up. Memphis is built to play long series and has the bench to back it up. Probably so right now, maybe. But they're a deep team. Definitely, they show that consistently. Um, I think it just be more exciting with the Warriors and Grizzlies. Uh, so of course, as I wait for y'all chime in on that, I have another question for y'all. As we know, like we said, the 76ers were able to knock off the Toronto Raptors. Had the 76ers not got that win last night and had to go a game 7, whether they would have won that game 7 or lost that game 7, would we have seen a situation to where Doc would have still been at the helm? Did the 76ers save Doc Rivers' job last night? I want to hear y'all. Let me know what y'all think. Answer that question. If you believe that the 76ers basically saved him from being an early exit as well with his exit interviews, where he probably would have been fired or let go by the Philly organization. Oh. So as additionally going back to the NFL draft, I just had a thought. There's a lot of availability left in the NFL draft. Who are y'all looking forward to seeing being drafted as well? Of course, you got some more wide quarterbacks that's out there. Some names of which we do know: Desmond Ritter, Matt Carroll, Sam Howell, Carson Strong, uh, Malik Willis is still out there and still available. One name in which not many people has been pretty efficient and has put up some good numbers in college football. Bailey Zapp out of Western Kentucky, just a running back. Is that what y'all looking for, Leo? A running back? Of course, top running back Brees Hall out of Iowa State did damage. He's available, of course, because no quarterback was taken, no running back was taken. Kenneth Walker III, he was a monster. He was a beast over the 3 years at Michigan State. James Cook out of Georgia. Um, Damian Pierce, Brian Robinson Jr. out of Alabama. Isaiah Spiller from Texas A&M. To name a few names. Hassan Haskins out of Michigan. Oh yeah. It's I guess it's like I said, like we said before we left that topic initially, Leo. I think it's a situation to where there's just no the value. I think the value just went down for the running back. I'm not saying I think I have to reemerge. There's going to have to be something that forces to reemerge. LSU Tyrion Davis Price is available. Aaron Smith, Monte Price. Uh, it's a few running backs that's available, but I think they're going to start to come off the board maybe in the next 2 rounds. Better fitting players. Well, we'll see Applewhite, especially when they go forth, if they go further in the final in the playoffs, they probably won't touch too much, but it has yet to be remained to be seen. But back to like you were saying, talking to Leo in reference to the running backs, I do think that there's going to be a large flux of running backs that's going to come off the board probably in the second, third round. We'll probably see more of that, especially with those more versatile backs that are able to catch, that don't have to just be two down or 3 down backs, or third down backs. We should see a more of an influx of that. Christian Watson still on the board. I'm thinking hopefully he gets to San Francisco to team back up with his former quarterback, Sky Moore, John Mechty the third, Jalen Talbert, Alec Pierce, David Bell from Purdue. Who else we got? Velius Jones from Tennessee, uh, who is said to be more of a Debo Samuel type. He's out there still. Uh, Bradley Sanders, Makai Help, um, all them Baylor backs, running backs. True enough, Leo, no tight ends really. Trey McBride expected to be one of the top running back tight ends off the list. We'll see if that happens. I think is I think it depends on what type of run tight end you're looking for in that case, Leo. Of course, we know we have receiving tight ends. You have some hybrids that can receive and block. You have some that's specifically blocking that get out in the routes eventually here and there. So that's additional where we see if that ends up going or how they go as they start to come off the board at some point as well. I don't think it's going to be a heavy tight end market. I think we'll see more tight ends, especially later towards the sixth and seventh round. Especially when you take into consideration that there's going to be some teams with multiple picks in those same rounds, in which a tight end might be drafted or pulled at that point. Uh, Offensive guards, plenty defensive tackles, more of that. I think this is going to be one of those all uh, defense laden drafts, probably with the last three rounds being more picking up more in an offensive standpoint. But I'm for it today. By the time the draft comes on, I'll be able to sit down and watch, maybe jump on the a draft show or two for under the E2G umbrella, as I was not able to last night due to work. I look forward to it, chopping it up with just weird draft defense first round. No tight ends, no running back. We draft class. That could be exactly what you from that reason. Well, Leo, the draft class. I think it was more so the draft class. I think it's whatever for the most part it's going to forever be changing because it's different things are going to be needed in different years. Like yes, now it was a heavy wide receiver, defensive laden draft. As you look back and it starts to transition, uh, you're going to have teams are going to start to lose some of those players. Of course, with as we see with the trades and talents being moved, other teams are going to need certain things. We still don't know. We still have things out there like McLaurin and Debo who are expected to get paid this year. They haven't solidified. Debo turned down the offer from San Francisco. So he's really wanted to push the trade. So he might have to be dealt. It's a lot of that, and I think that's going to dictate the market for the most part. Yeah, and that's kind of like what I was saying earlier, but I was talking from the wide receiver aspect. The wide receiver is becoming more of a versatility position, and the three a hand up and the powder smoke is not that anymore, unless but it's not a commodity which you can't because it's no different from the fullback position, in which is only a few teams that still employ the fullback. But in the case of like let's say the 49ers, they have Kyle Jusic, in which he can block, he can get out and receive, he can pick up a couple of yards if need be. So positions in general are evolving. When you look at stuff like Micah Parson, he was like a hybrid. He played defensive end. He played the linebacker position. All positions, I think, are starting to evolve and become different. And basically, that makes it where they're starting to make it more of a problem when it comes to these schemes and these game plans. When you have a defensive player that can put his hand in the dirt and go get the quarterback, or when his hand is not in the dirt and he's standing up, he can cover. He can cover in space. That's a problem because now you can mix it up. Now you don't know what he's doing. He ain't coming off the dirt. He's just coming off the edge, causing problems. Additionally, when you got a wide receiver with a cornerback, a wide receiver that's running a sweep, once he gets the ball in his hand, he becomes as deadly as a running back, able to absorb the punishment. Like that is starting to be across the board. Tight ends can come off the line and be number one receivers from the tight end position, not from the slot, not from the from the from standing up on the sidelines. Like everyone is starting to evolve and starting to make it more of an issue to deal with, but it's making for better the sport. But of course, yeah, 2 to 3 safeties. You got linebackers or safeties that can come down and play linebacker positions. Like everything is evolutional at this point. Yeah, everything is evolutional, and it's just a matter of people wanting to take it. I don't know about that, Leo. I think you gonna have to explain that to us, Leo. I don't know. I don't know about that. What makes Who Dat Nation a problem this year? I would like to get your opinion on what makes Who Dat Nation a problem this year. Jameis Winston, maybe Thomas. I got Olave. Uh, Currently, you still have Kamara. Our defense is pretty nice. It's still that. So, but what makes it a problem exactly? You know what? I digress. Y'all might have something. Y'all might give some May 12th. We get to see the standing. I'm correction the schedule. So we're basically 2 weeks from seeing that. You can say it's Doc Ron. I don't know. It might be. It may be Doc. I mean, you know what? I think it is Doc. I'm not gonna even hold y'all. I think it is Doc. Hence the reason I'm not a big fan of him coming to LA. In any case, we don't want that. We don't need that. Like Applewhite says, surely not the QB. He has proven what since being in league. On the opposite side of the spectrum, Leo feels that they have a QB now, and that Jameis Winston can be effective, even though we could call him 30 for 30 and 30. At the end of the day, he did put up 30 touchdowns, but with that 30 interceptions, it's like no risk it, no biscuit type of situation. So, is there a possibility for Jameis Winston to rescind on those 30 interceptions and maybe pick up a little on the touchdowns, or if he drops back? Because obviously he was putting the ball up. So to go for the 30 for 30, to go for that 30 for 30, he was putting the ball up. So, but it was just it seemed like 50-50 balls that went up as well. So it's interesting to see if New Orleans has found themselves the replacement for Drew Brees. Going back to Ron was saying about the Sixers, I could have swept that this was a lapse in coaching, accountability, and keeping team focused. So I asked Ron, do you think it was any time in this situation that the loss or the fact of James Harden wasn't actively engaging was a problem, or was it for Doc to sit up and get James to be engaging? 22.6 rebounds. Everyone's on the 30 for 30. Crab legs. He in the boot. Crab legs. Maybe he switched from crab legs to crawfish. That's a little easier. That's more affordable. But I mean, but I'm not just saying. With all jokes aside, I'm not against Jameis. I would like to uh, see and hear from him, and see if it's changed. Like if he can really take the helm of the New Orleans Saints, and like he's been given try at this NFL life to see if he can do it. Not everyone gets a second chance and are able to be successful. I think Vic had a little success in his second chance. Cam Newton, the jury's still out because although he went to New England with one game of the 500 and missing the playoffs, when he came back around to Portland, not Portland, but he came back around to Charlotte again in Carolina, it didn't go well. Currently, he's sitting waiting to see if he's going to get a phone call, and it might not. He might not get that. But you know what, Ron? Since you out there, I know Applewhite and Leo is still there. I asked y'all this question, right? David Ajobu, where do you see him going? You know he went down with the ACL tear or Achilles tear, wherever his injury was. Where is he going to be going? He's the number one ranked offensive lineman. Where does he go? How far does he drop? Does he drop to this? So when at what point does someone take a look at him? Mm. But yes, Ron, Leo, Applewhite, Joe, where is he going? Where does he go? He probably would have been drafted yesterday had he not got injured. So where does he get? Where does his name get called? Outside linebacker, Michigan, 6'4", 250 pound, number one ranked position at his number one at his position. But of course, we know that injury that he sustained during his pro day is going to limit him. But how far does he drop? At what point does a team take a flyer on him to be their next linebacker? When does Malik Willis' name get called? And see, this is exactly what we talked about. Being in the green room. I'm not going to no green room. We good. I pulled up at the house. Y'all can set up and send the news crew, y'all camera crew to my crib or wherever I'm having my draft party at. But I'm not being in no green room. That's not happening. Exactly what we said is that man said Malik Willis went to the green room and still would be in the green room. Even though I think there's a bunch of people that's probably still in the green room, but of course, Malik Willis was one of the more notable names which was out there, and he's still there. Let me see who's still there. Take which one you talking about? Least Ron Malik Willis or or Malik or Jobu Jobo. I mean Willis is still to be third. Take him in the third. Willis will be a third round, fourth rounder. I don't see him getting picked tonight. Ajobo, yeah, Ajoba, third rounder, probably. I think, yeah, I could agree with you. I would be willing to agree with you on that. Second round is still pretty much of a value. Has some value still. So I would be willing to say that that is the case. Uh, let's say, okay, who's still left in the green room? We have Matt Coral, Ohio, Ole Miss. He's still in the green room. Malik Willis, Liberty quarterback, still in the green room. Kobe Dean, Georgia, still in the green room. Kyler Gordon from Washington, cornerback, still in the green room. So four out of I think 21 players are still in the green room. Understand? Stop it. See, how did I know that was coming up? I didn't see when I was reading this. I didn't look below to see it, but I was thinking to myself as I was reading your comment, Ron. I was like, I bet he's probably talking about the Rams. And so then up jumps the Boogie. The next comment, maybe a team like the Rams can steal. They better not. Matt Carroll should go fast tonight. We'll see. Two corners, one linebacker, one cornerback, and two quarterbacks left from the green room crew. My estimation how it was going, we're looking at probably Dean from Georgia goes before Carroll does. Tampa Bay is first up on the clock. What do y'all think Tampa Bay needs? What does Tampa Bay need? Tampa Bay is stated to need an offensive guard, a defensive tackle, a tight end, a running back, and a defensive end. Maybe running back Leo. Ron says receivers for Tampa. They need a quarterback. It sounds like everything. True that. It's like it is. Tampa needs a quarterback too. I don't think the guard is not the most glaring. Running back, they only have Fournette is currently on their roster. I'm very sure they're going to draft a running back. I would even be saying it might be a safe bet to say they might take the first running back off the board. Would you trade for CMC? Would you trade for Christian McCaffrey, Ron? I think everyone's fearful. I think Christian McCaffrey's going to have to do a year or two with a pretty full season. Maybe not even a whole season, but some good games in order and show that he still has that value and that he can remain healthy and be able to help the team out. Here you go, Steve. Really? We already talked about the Eagles. Woohoo, AJ Brown. Okay, I can feel that. All right, Steve. Yes, AJ Brown. You believe now? You another one of those people believe that the Eagles are now a Super Bowl contender? Please don't be that person. Don't be that guy, Steve. Don't be that guy. Don't be that guy. Eagles fly, Eagles fly. Here we go with the bird. Don't be that guy, Steve. What? 13-4? Steve, you believe with Ron? 13-4 Eagles? You look like you probably typed out a Trump is like, no, 14-3. So what we know, Steve, is if anyone knows me, I deal in facts. I deal in facts. So it is very factual that the Eagles have not been a contender and that the 49ers have stayed a contender more often than they have. In 4 years with Jimmy Garoppolo, we've been to 2 NFC division championships and a Super Bowl. And 2 of the 4 years in which Jimmy Garoppolo has not played, he has not played, and we weren't anything. When we talk about the Philadelphia Eagles, we can't say the same thing. But I will digress. At this point, y'all are looking pretty good on paper, as a lot of people look good on paper. The Rams look good on paper right now. The Eagles look good on paper right now. Cincinnati looks good on paper right now. Cleveland looks good on paper right now. We haven't won anything since Cap. We didn't win with Cap. We went to another Super Bowl quarterback with Cap. So I'll give you that. Yeah, the Eagles did their thing last night. But what is that going to amount to? Applewhite said they now on the Cowboys level. We'll start to see, as we definitely are very sure we'll have a schedule release party the day after the schedule release to sit up and talk about it that morning. And sit up and give our breaks on what we think the records will be after May 12th. So I look forward to it. Of course, that's the time for today. I greatly appreciate y'all coming out and rocking with me today. It's been a long week. Sit up and doing this here and there. Last time I checked, the Rams have a Super Bowl, so they have no choice but to look good on paper. So, to that, Steve, I would say, okay, I'll give you that. But still, but they haven't signed everyone. Their team, they haven't brought. Unlike the Tampa Bay Buccaneers that year, the Rams haven't brought back everybody in which they had. Now they've gone out and got pieces in which may be better than what they had, and re-signed some of their key players. But I don't know. I can't necessarily say. But like I said, of course, even after we drop off the cash, y'all can continue to comment in the comments as they continue to go. Appreciate it, Frat. Friday, I know Friday. I try to catch on. I hope y'all rocking today. I try to jump on the Zoom for our 5-day last Friday of the month. But yeah, so we greatly appreciate, saying it'd be a hard, long road. We get Bishop back. We get to talk about Brooklyn. Even though he might be like, that's old stuff. We get to continue on talking about the draft, probably back on the draft. Not Javante Davis. Stevenson fights this weekend. Talk about the Stevenson fight. Plenty of sports going on. We'll be able to recap the playoff in the NBA playoffs, the NFL draft, the fight, all that as we look forward and move on. Maybe a little baseball talk. Maybe a couple of people from as we know, the military, national military basketball tournament is going on in San Antonio. Probably right now as we speak. I'll have to see if I can catch somebody and see if I can get some streams. A lot going on. Lots of stuff to recap over the weekend. I greatly appreciate y'all rocking with me today. I look forward to seeing y'all again on Monday. As y'all know, we're here 09 to 1100 every day of the weekday, Monday through Friday. Be sure to go out and catch E2G as they're still having draft shows. E2G, Ear to the Ground Sports Network out of the out of the New England area. Check them out. And I see y'all there here on Monday at this time. Y'all go ahead, dismiss, enjoy your weekend. Check y'all later, high speeds. I'm out.